Hi, everyone. I'm Teresa Lysam, to you today with my amazing guest co-host, Shari Lillico, and we're evolving women. I'm evolving. You're evolving. We're all evolving. So let's help each other to evolve. And our intention here today is to fill the world with uplifting messages, new perspectives, maybe some tools, maybe some resources, wellness ideas, maybe some mindset changes. And we're all here together to give you permission to be your best self and live your best life. So let's go forward and start evolving. And we're so glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Welcome, everyone, to Evolving Women. We're so glad you're here. And I want to welcome back Shari Lillico for part 2. If you haven't checked out the previous episode where we had some interesting conversation around acceptance, please look for that. And we're going to take the conversation further today. So welcome back, Shari. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
We talked a little bit in the first episode, right? We finished up near the end around taking responsibility for ourselves. So we thought we would explore that further here in the second part. So we're going to see where this goes. I was telling Shari that when I first heard somebody say how important it was to take responsibility for ourselves, like everything, like I couldn't understand what he was talking about. Like, I don't even know what that means. And so I had to really sit with it, process it, see. I think it probably came up from a few other people. And then I finally got it. Now, does that mean I totally am like that 100% of the time? No. Even though I have an understanding and awareness of things, and you have to tell me if this is true for you, that doesn't mean we always do that thing. Like, I should be drinking more water, and I know I need to, and I want to. Does that mean I do it 100% of the time? No. So it seems to be a constant daily, maybe a moment by moment practice to take responsibility for ourselves. So Shari, what's your take on that concept?
So, responsibility for yourself. I was very similar. We're going to go back just a little bit on that one. I was very similar to you about the whole what do you mean take responsibility for yourself, right? Like I didn't, and this was at the very beginning of my self-improvement journey is when it came up, and I think it was by a lady who actually did cards. And she's like, take responsibility. Here's a Brene Brown thing that you have to listen to. And it was, I was like, okay, well, I take responsibility for myself. I always have, right? But I didn't get it. And then a couple years later, I think I was with the same lady in another set of cards. And she's like, here, watch this. And I had already watched it, but it took that understanding a little bit further. And then couple years later down the road, I was on a webinar, not a webinar, but a class thing. And it was all about taking 100% responsibility for yourselves and what that actually meant. And it was Jack Canfield, actually. And it was his formula. How you might be able to help me with that, how it goes. It's E, so it's basically what you do, how, or oh dear, what is that formula? But anyway, it equals the outcome, right?
Yeah.
And that outcome is you. So it's how you deal with that formula will come to me.
It
But
will.
It's about the outcome. So it's how we think about things, how we deal with things, how we what we do, how we do it, all that kind of stuff. And it's not always all about just, drinking more water and taking responsibility
Yeah.
for not drinking it,
Right.
but it's also accepting that you're not doing it. So taking responsibility for it by accepting that is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. And
Right.
it's all about not blaming others or putting that responsibility on somebody else for something we should be taking responsibility for ourselves for. So I
Right.
can't blame anybody else for not drinking the water, as a very simplistic example. I can't blame anybody for the way I react to something, someone, some situation. I mean, it's easy to blame others. Oh, you make me so mad, or you made me spill that milk, or you made whatever. Like like as kids, we tend to blame it on whoever is easily available and blame it on them. And I've seen that play out with my granddaughters. Like,
Yeah.
no, no, I saw what just happened, and it wasn't that your sibling, it was you. But they don't understand that. Is that because we're not pointing that out? We're not giving them that awareness? I don't know what it is, but it is
Yeah.
a daily, constant, moment by moment practice, I think.
It is. And to take it even further, because I've had some people who I've talked to about this, and clients, not just clients, but even friends or family. And they're like, well, this is what happened and it's not my fault. I was like, no, it's not your fault that this happened.
Mm-hmm.
But what is your responsibility? What
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
your part of it
Right,
is the
right,
way you're reacting to it and how you're dealing with it. So, okay, so this bad thing happened.
mm-hmm.
It's not nice. It wasn't nice. And I'm not saying that, you were to blame for it to happen, because of course, well, there's a lot of um, out of our control circumstances that
Mm-hmm.
happen, right?
Right.
But it's how we deal with it and how we let it affect ourselves. So the emotions that we have,
Mm-hmm.
if we're going to stay angry with it, are we going to, keep blaming them? Are we going to, you know, be angry and not forgive, all that kind of
Right,
stuff? Because
right,
all that's doing when we do that, of course, is it's just dropping our vibration
right,
levels,
right.
and it's making us not our best selves,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So taking responsibility for that kind of stuff is not easy because, well, forgiving and all that kind of stuff can sometimes be a little difficult, and letting stuff go. But it soothes the soul when we can take responsibility, even if we can't, or we don't feel, or we know that, something wasn't the best that could have happened.
Right. And so I was just thinking as you were saying that, when we say taking responsibility, it could even just come down to your responses. You're being responsible for your own response. And like you said, how long are you going to maintain that low vibration or that negative emotion? Or
Right.
how are you going to respond to that person who cut you off in traffic? So our responsibility is almost like our response to things.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's where
Oh,
part of that word came from.
yeah.
Responsibility. I just put that
Right.
together.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it is easy to fall into blame others, because we don't want ourselves to feel bad because we didn't take action or we responded in a negative way, or we didn't do what we thought we should do,
Yeah.
or made a
Yeah.
poor choice. So instead of taking that on ourselves, it's easier just to blame somebody else, somebody outside of us,
Or ignore it,
or ignore
even,
it. Yeah. Yeah.
right? And then that causes a whole bunch of other issues because um, taking this into a completely and into another scope of responsibility um, uh, with where do I want to go with this? With the things that bug us. Okay, so we're not doing something. Um, we've got laundry to do, we've got house cleaning to do, we've got whatever to do, and it's sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. And of course, we look at it and we kind of grumble, and it's like try to ignore it. And then instead of taking responsibility and just getting it done. Right?
Yep.
Because if we got it done, then that wouldn't be there. That niggling little something wouldn't be there, bringing down your vibration, because that brings down your vibration too every time you have all these niggling little things that kind of
Right.
take at you. And yeah, so then taking responsibility for doing all that kind of stuff. So responsibility goes into a lot of places, including, like I said, how and what you do with it.
Yeah. And when you were looking for a word, I thought of the word triggers. Like if something
yes.
triggers you,
Yes.
why is it triggering you? Like it might be worth some time to investigate what it is about that event, that person, that comment that you need to respond to in some way. And okay, so you respond to it. You took responsibility and responded in a, let's say, even a positive way. But maybe taking some time later to go back and revisit, why did that trigger me? Why did that comment trigger me? What is it going on for me within myself that is causing that trigger to make me react, or to get me to react? I don't want to say make me, that's not a good choice of words, but to get me to react. Is it getting me to react so I can look at that closer
Usually.
instead of shoving it aside or blaming it on somebody else? Then that could be a little tap saying, hey, pay attention to this thing that just happened,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
explore it more and let it go or accept it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is big. And it, of course, well, that's getting into the acceptance thing again.
yeah.
But it's I don't know. I keep losing my train of thought.
Sorry. But I do want to say that we're all on a journey. So we're on a journey of coming into full responsibility for our choices and our responses. We're
Yeah.
all on a journey of acceptance. We're all on a journey of up leveling ourselves. We're all on a journey of stepping into our best selves. We're all on a journey of making mistakes and course correcting in a different direction. We're all on a journey to try to follow those breadcrumbs to our best version of ourselves, to our full evolvement, since this is evolving women, so it's like a never ending journey until we, leave this world, and then even
Right.
maybe beyond. So it's almost like just accepting that it is an unending journey. That's huge in and of itself. But maybe knowing that it's not finite and it doesn't end possibly could give us more generosity around it and more self-forgiveness. And I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with that, but what's your thoughts on that?
my thoughts is you're very correct. It is long-standing journey. It doesn't have to be arduous. It doesn't have to
Right.
be difficult. There, of course, some situations are going to come up that are probably more difficult than others to handle. But there's always a way through, and it's always the more we can work through our stuff, take responsibility for our stuff, become aware of our stuff, accept our stuff, um, the easier the journey will
Mm,
be, right?
love.
And never never realizing you don't have to do it yourself.
Yes,
Like
yes, I
there's
love that.
people out there that will help, can help you. There's
Mhm,
people, um, the podcasts are great. If you can get a coach, that's great. If you
mhm.
can just use a friend, whatever, um, just to help you even look at something that is, maybe you're just not seeing something the way it needs to be seen. Like when I was, like I said, my friend with her cards, I wasn't seeing the lesson that I needed to see.
Mhm, mhm,
So she was there to show me,
mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
I mean, it was still my responsibility to actually get to that lesson.
Right, right.
But, but you're not, nobody's ever alone on this journey. There is so many of us now on it, and some are further ahead, some are just starting, and wherever you are and whatever kind of layers you have, it's all good, because that is where
Mhm.
you're supposed to be, and that is where
Right.
you are, you know
Yeah, I love that. I love both of, well, several of those things. You're not alone, and that's where you're supposed to be at that particular moment in time for reasons we don't really know,
yeah,
but where we're at is perfect. Don't beat ourselves up about it. Be accepting and gracious to ourselves and others because they're right where they should be at any moment in time. And who are we to judge that? And yeah, reaching out to others is huge. From my understanding, there's a lot of people in the world that don't have a positive support system, people that they can trust, because you want somebody who's going to be honest with you and
mhm,
give you honest feedback. And we do need that person outside of our head because we got all these
definitely.
stories going on in our head and we can't see the forest because all these trees.
Mhm,
And so we need somebody to come at it from a different perspective, offer us different perspectives and different insights that they're seeing from their perspective, which is what we're all about here in this Evolving Women series. We're all
yeah,
about letting women know that we've been there, we've done that, or we know somebody, or we're all on our own journey. And why don't we all go together and support each other? So
exactly.
yeah, I love that you brought that up. It may seem like you're alone, but if you're open to people coming into your lives that are going to help you, then I think that's going to happen. I think that truly will happen when you're open to that and you believe that somebody's coming in to help you, support you.
Mhm.
Now, like you said, you still have the ultimate responsibility to take action, to do some changing, to have some processing, have some self-awareness. So we can have people help us, but it's ultimately up to us to
Yeah.
direct ourselves in our lives. So I think that's an awesome way to wrap things up. They can certainly reach out to you. There's going to be contact information to reach out to Shari. You can certainly reach out to me. And if we can't serve you, we will try to connect you with somebody else. But the internet online world is amazing to connect with other like-minded people.
Yeah,
So,
and follow your intuition.
yes,
If you know,
exactly.
right,
Yeah. Follow your gut, follow
follow your gut.
your,
If this one
yes.
person feels right, then go with them. I would love to help you. I know, Teresa, you would like to help
Mhm.
whoever, resonates with you. I would like to help whoever resonates with me. Yeah, so, don't ever be ashamed
Right.
or fearful of ever reaching out.
Exactly. And don't be embarrassed about any questions. Like I always ask what I think are stupid questions, but you know how we've heard there are no stupid questions. If you don't ask them, you're never going to know,
Exactly, right?
So
Just
if
like
you,
you were saying about the whole responsibility, you didn't understand. I didn't understand the whole
Mhm.
responsibility thing when I first. It's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Right?
So yeah,
Like,
you get clarity. You keep
you
asking
get clarity.
questions till you get clarity or some more awareness around whatever it is. But yeah, this
Exactly.
has been another fabulous discussion. I so have enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Um, any call to action you might have that we can offer our viewers?
So basically, becoming aware of our thoughts and basically of what we're doing, how we're doing it, that kind of stuff. Um, yeah, I invite everybody to just start looking, becoming aware of it. And when you see that you're going off and going, but but he or she or this happened or whatever, just
Mhm.
stop
Yep.
and go, okay, yep, that happened, but what's my part? how
Mhm.
how am I responding to that? Is that the way I really want to respond
Love that.
to that? Right.
Mhm.
And and then go from there, because it's your response fuels the outcome.
Yes, love that. Great words of wisdom to close up this episode with. Just go out there and be aware, my friends. So thank you so much, Shari. This has been so interesting. Again, so insightful. Thank you for offering us so many gems of wisdom. We appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing out there in the world. And I want to thank everybody who's listening or watching. We appreciate you being here. Again, like we said, reach out to Shari, reach out to me, subscribe to this YouTube channel, look for us. We want everybody to be evolving and uplifted in this world, especially women.
Yes, well, not
Okay.
just especially, but I mean, women,
Right.
I think, need to be pushed a little bit,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, my friends. We so appreciate
Okay.
you. Until next time, bye bye.